you should first start with introspection. Assess yourself. What are your goals? What are your aspirations? Because if you don't have goals or aspirations, then you won't have any motivation to work hard in school or work hard in anything that you do. Anything that you do in life, you should ask yourself this one question: will it help me achieve my goal? That's the second step. And the third step is just to My name is Tumelo Rabolinyane. I'm a student currently studying at Masuru Private Academy in S4A, and I'm 15 years of age. 2 months ago, on the 21st of June, I left the country to go and participate in the Second Belt and Road International Skills Competition in China, Chongqing, where I managed to attain a position in the top 10 worldwide. I was competing against people who have done robotics in universities. The minimum age, I was the youngest at the competition, but I was competing against people aged from around 20 to around 35. Another team that I competed against is actually a robot manufacturing company which produces the second largest quantity of robots in Russia. The project was in industrial robot system operations, and we were tasked to put in some mechanisms on the layout that we were given, and we had to debug the programs for the mechanisms on the layout. We also had to create a digital twin simulation where there is an identical twin of the layout of the unit, and we had to create a program to test whether it will work on the robot once we transfer it from the computer to the actual robot. And the last task was to program the actual robot. We were supposed to program the robot to pick up a package from the end of the conveyor belt, lift it up to the color sensor so that the color can be detected. Once it has been detected, we were supposed to program the robot to take the package to the machining unit and then to the warehouse. So it was very important that the package is put on the right level on the warehouse, because the blue packages had to be on one level and the yellow packages had to be on their own level as well. I think the most difficult part of the competition was where I couldn't quite understand the instructions that were given. So that automatically led to me getting a lower mark, because at the beginning of the competition, I thought that we were supposed to create our own programs for the other mechanisms on the layout. But we were actually given the programs, and what we had to do was to debug, to basically test if they are okay and there are no errors in the programs and they would work. The most interesting thing I learned when I was in China was that these dreams and aspirations that we have of living in a world filled with technology can actually be true. Because when I was in China, I soon discovered that they have smart TVs that can actually move. And I learned that people, actually children younger than me, are playing with technology. If you go to China and ask a toddler, what do you do for fun? They'll tell you that, no, when I'm at home, I play with my pet robot that I built when I was 6 years old. So China is basically a different world in the world, where it's filled with technology and is run by technology. I think it's important for young people to participate in more robotics competitions and to be involved in robotics and technology, because we are reaching an era where AI and robotics is becoming increasingly popular. So I think it's important that in our country, Lesotho, we should actually start joining more robotics schools to get introduced to the basics of robotics. And I would advise every other young person that you shouldn't be reluctant to join robotics because you think you won't need it in the future. People have given me excuses such as, no, when I grow older, I want to become a doctor or a neurosurgeon, and what does robotics have to do with that? Well, robotics will play a very large role in that in the future, because in the future we'll be having robotics assistants in hospitals, we would be having robotics assistants in pharmacies and in everywhere else. So there's truly no excuse as to why you can't do robotics or you don't want to do robotics. My dream is to become an automotive engineer because I have a passion for vehicles, specifically cars, but I don't want to make ordinary cars that we see and drive every day. I want to integrate robotics and AI in the cars that I'll be producing. I believe MPA has played a major role in helping me to get to where I am today, because a year back, Girls Coding Academy was hosting a boot camp and asked MPA to select 5 learners from the school. So the teachers here, Mr. Nte, who was a teacher at MPA, actually nominated me and a couple of other students to go and participate in the boot camp. When I first joined MPA in ISP, I became interested in sciences, and those teachers actually helped me to nurture my curiosity about different things in the science region. My curiosity actually started building up when I reached high school. We had teachers such as Mr. Nto and Mr. Nte, even Mr. Mura and Mr. Larat, and all the other science teachers who actually helped me and guided me to reach the point where I am today. My advice to other young people would be that they should not let any opportunity that comes their way to slip through their fingers just because they feel like they're still young and they can't actually achieve anything. You should first start with introspection. Assess yourself. What are your goals? What are your aspirations? Because if you don't have goals or aspirations, then you won't have any motivation to work hard in school or work hard in anything that you do. So it first starts with assessing yourself as to what your goals are. And then the second step is self-discipline. You have to be disciplined enough to tell yourself that no, enough is enough. You should leave the drugs alone, leave your phone alone if it's a distraction. Anything that you do in life, you should ask yourself this one question: will it help me achieve my goal? That's the second step. And the third step is just to now align the things that you do with your goal. And you should also remember that as we are evolving, technology is becoming increasingly popular. So you also have to look at what things you can do to help you become more technologically advanced, because in the future we will be using technology for almost everything.